What's up, everyone? It's me, Z64, and this is part 2 of the ultimate guide to making YAKUZA renders in Blender. Alright, so today, what we are going to learn about is the different types of textures. We're going to learn how to pose these models and how to like them. And listen, I'm bringing more energy and more fucking structure, because last time I just started yapping off rip. I knew when I was gonna stop yapping, but I just need to stop. I just needed to yap. But yeah, let's get into it right now. Alright, so we're going to go to the shading tab. I'm going to show you all the different types of textures. Alright, to start, we got this. Let me switch this to non-color so you get the true look. Because you might be wondering, why the hell Ichiban looks so white in this texture when he looks normal? Now listen, images usually import in sRGB, but with Not Yoshi shaders, as you will see in very shortly, Not Yoshi, all of his base color textures, they need to be in non-color. Every single one of his textures need to be in non-color. So, what the hell is a C_AM_Ichiban_face_DI? Well, the C isn't really that important. I don't know what it means. I don't care about what it means. What's important is the AM and this after, right before the file extension. The AM. So AM means the texture is for a male character. That's pretty self-explanatory. There's also for AW, CM, and CW. I don't really know the difference between CM and CW textures compared to CM and CW models, because obviously CM and CW models are much more different than these textures. But what is a DI? First off, a DI is short for diffuse, and a diffuse texture, which you can also call an albedo, apparently, is a base color texture. This could be anything. This could be the letter 6. It could be this, what you're seeing on the sidebar right here. Or it could be like Ichiban's hair or something. This is what gives the color of skin or clothing or other things, etc., etc., etc. Let's put that back to non-color. Just wait for it to load. Oh yeah, let me talk about one more thing. If you press Control and Spacebar, it will essentially make a whole tab full screen. So for example, you could do this for the nodes. You could do this for the viewport. You could do this for the image. But we're not going to. Let's move on to the MT, multi. This means multi. This can be a ton of things. Like, let me put this in sRGB, just so y'all can see the full thing, the true thing. So, these control how rough a texture is, how rough a material is, how wet a material is, how bright a material is, etc., etc., etc. This controls a lot of things like ambient occlusion. This also controls, it controls a lot, basically. So, what is the point of me showing you this? Well, you might be wondering, why is it so green? So green is the very basic MT texture color. Materials are by default just a plain green. Where am I going with this? I actually forgot. So, yeah, basically, multis have a lot of uses, essentially. Now, remember these textures, because these will come up soon. Now, let's move on to this TN thing. Might be wondering, hold on. Let me switch this back to non-color, like it should be. And then put the TN to sRGB, so I can show you guys. There. Now, you might be wondering, what the fuck is this grizzly bear looking ass shit? Now, this right here is what you call a normal map. So, a normal map is a texture that fakes details on a mesh. So, you could have a mesh with 12 polygons, have the detail of a mesh with 12 million. If you have a good normal map, that is. And, yeah, that's basically it for normal maps. Usually they are called TN, and I think they always are. We'll talk about another type later. Put this back to non-color. Now, what about this? Looks just like a normal map, right? Thing is with that, it's not like a normal map. It's not a one-to-one, though. You see, the difference here with difference between this and a Dragon Engine normal map and a regular normal map is this is controlling wrinkles of the face. So you know how when your face, like when you put your eyebrows really high, your face folds. When you smile really wide, like your face, it folds. When you get a grumpy look on your face folds. Essentially, extreme stretching of the face skin. That's what this is simulating. That's all I have to say. This, you can't control this, by the way, with as far as I'm aware, you cannot control this with anything meaningful. I am not sure if you can control the TS in any way on the Neo Yakuza shader. I will update you guys if I find a way to use it, but I currently have not. So put this onto sRGB. Let's put this onto non-color anyway. Then let's move on. Now, noise is an interesting one, because it doesn't have a TN, TS, DIMT. It doesn't have that extension at the end. But noise is very special. You see, the noise texture is simulating basically, I don't know how to describe it. If you look at your skin closely, it's trying to replicate that. The skin texture, essentially. That's what's being replicated here. Yeah, that's basically it. And finally, the very last thing. The TR. This is for... Hold on. Alright, so the TR texture is used when... Okay, let's say there's a very bright light near your ear, for example. You see how bright it is around the ear area? The brighter it gets, the more subsurface scattering will appear in that particular area. What the hell is subsurface scattering, though? Subsurface scattering, how can I explain this? Basically, it's how your skin reacts to light being reflected by it's basically how your skin is being reflected. Is how the light is reflecting through your skin. And think of how if you put paper in a bright light, it gets a little bit transparent. That's essentially what's happening with your body, and that's what this texture is trying to replicate. And yeah, let's keep this at non-color once again. Now, I didn't exactly explain what the hell a noise texture was. Not in a good way, though. Hold on, let me find the material. There you are. Oh. Okay, I made a mistake. That's not what I was meant to do. Alright, who cares? Unless I see something in the future that looks bad, I will fix it. Oh, fucking hell. Oh boy. I'll give it some time. Alright, it loaded, finally. Okay, so this... You're serious? Okay. This imperfections... You might be wondering, what the hell is an RM? So, remember the multi from before? That's just this, but it's repeating, like how a noise texture would. You know how a noise texture, it was too big to be. It was, the texture, like, you could see too much of the skin details for that to be, visible realistically on a human, because that's not how it is in real life. Even though YAKUZA is relatively stylized. So yeah, RM is essentially doing that, but for multis. Oh, fucking hell. Alright. Now, once again, an RM is essentially just a very small multi. Let me show you this texture over here. RT. Now, this is what the noise texture was. A noise texture is an RT, and this is also an RT. This is a repeating normal map, and this is used to simulate fur, to simulate fabric, to simulate skin texture, any sort of texture that is a very small detail that you can barely notice. That is what an RT is for. And then finally, there's one more. RD. This is self-explanatory. This is just a repeating diffuse texture. This is for capturing those small details that you couldn't get with a diffuse unless it was like ridiculously large. Alright, now that we're done with this, let's get to actually posing the model. Now, what I could do, what I will do actually, is first I'm gonna go into a view that doesn't fucking destroy my computer. So we're gonna go into viewport shading right here. And under this drop down menu where it says shading, you're gonna click it. And then you go where it says color, you want to change from material to texture. Okay, I can switch that back so it's easier to work with. I'm gonna go up here. Then I'm just gonna click Ichiban's face texture. And one thing to note, before I do any of this, I just want to I just want to say, if not already, you should add a skin shader. You should up the skin shader slider on the eyes to 0.1. And there's also a reason for this, because the eyes in real life are also affected by subsurface scattering, and the skin shader essentially replicates that subsurface scattering. So if you want to have somewhat more accurate IRL looking stuff, give it a little bit of the skin shade, because that's how eyes work in real life. I'm not sure how they replicate that entirely, but it works for me in Blender. And this also applies to teeth. Teeth are affected by subsurface scattering, and pretty much everything is. Some things are just not affected by as much as others. Alright, now that we're done with that, we can finally get to posing. Alright, so like I did before, I'm going to use my shortcuts, but if you forget, there is also another way. I don't know the way, actually. There is this way: object mode, edit mode, pose mode. Also, if you want to create a shortcut, you want to right click on something and you want to just change the shortcut here. Mine is Control Tab, so I'm going to press that. And now I will show you the basics of posing a character. So, I already mentioned the neck in the last video. Kubi means neck in Japanese. So, yeah. It moves the neck. You don't want to use the transform, the move one, because then you'll just give him a giraffe neck, and I doubt you want that. And I don't think you want to scale his neck either, unless you want him to look like a fucking bobblehead. Like, yeah, just don't do that. You're supposed to rotate this. And same goes with this face _ C _ N. So I might as well just explain what that means. Face, well, if you speak English, which you practically have to be if you're watching this video, unless you're watching it with like auto-translated subtitles. Basically, yeah, a face is a face. I'm pretty sure you know that. Yeah, once again, move this the same way you would move the neck. I mean, you could make this bigger, just don't do the neck, because it looks weird. Sticking to the facial features, let me first talk about, let me go from the top and then work my way down to the mouth and the chin, all that stuff, because I'll show you what I use and what I don't use, what you should use. other stuff, basically. Alright, so let's start with the eyebrows. So let's say I want to make Ichiban angry. Your first train of thought would probably be to select these two bones. Pressing shift, you can select multiple things in the viewport at once, instead of pressing control, like in the whatever this is, the outline or whatever. Yeah, possibly your first thought of instinct would be to do this. And while this isn't wrong, this looks fine. But there's a way you can make it better. There is a bone right in the middle, right at the very, very, very tip of the face bone, called brow_C_N. And this helps tremendously with these, expressions. You could also make him surprised. You can make him sad. You can really do anything with these. I'm just gonna make him all the brow bones do what they look like they do. So the top one, the right one controls the end of the eyebrow. The left one controls the beginning of the eyebrow. And the middle one controls the middle of the eyebrow. Wow, shocker. I don't have to explain that to you because you probably already figured that out. I'd also suggest rotating the middle one a little bit on the side, just to get like that perfect, just to perfect your eyebrow shape, just perfect your eyebrow posing shape. Nothing crazy though, like not like you wouldn't rotate it the way you'd rotate the neck, not like that. You want something a little bit more gentle, a little bit like this. Alright, so now let me talk about the eyes and the eyelids. So this bone is the main key bone for the eyes. This controls the eyelid. If you can already fucking tell. Yeah, these control the eyelid. Let me see what this looks like. Alright. Right here. Eyelid 2_on. And this controls the eyelid, as it says. Controls the actual like eyelid. You can give him a fucking monolid if you want. Well, it depends on how you pose it. Like you have to be very deliberate with how you pose this. Give Ichiban a monolid. But I don't know why the hell you'd want to do that in the first place. This doesn't have a lot of uses. It's a very like specific case scenario to like perfect your shot. And now the most important bone here. The actual eye bone. This controls the full eye. And you can make him look wherever you want. And just remember that the eye is a circle, so you want to rotate it. Same applies to this eye. Just gonna do that. These bones right here are for the bottom eyelid. That's all I have to say. When it comes to these right here are cheekbones. Pretty much everything I have selected right here is a cheekbone. But the ones I use are these. And I use these mainly to get smiles correctly, and etc, etc, etc. Won't be doing that right now. What I will be doing is posing his face. And also, I'd use cheek 1. These are at the edge of the nose. They're not required, but you should most likely give them a rundown. The nose bones. These are also like specific case scenario bones. Like, you won't need them in every single scenario, but they will come in handy in certain like cases. Like if they're breathing in and out very heavily for whatever reason, or anything else really. So you can make his nostrils really fucking big. And this is why a TS strength, this is why the wrinkle map is very important. And I don't know how to fucking activate it on the Neo shader. I'll show you which shader I use for activating that in a future video. But this video is focused on posing, lighting, and showing you what textures do what. Not showing you how to use shaders and other stuff. So, yeah. There's the mouth. Self-explanatory for the most part. All the lines you see here control their corresponding mouth bones. But what I want to really dwell upon is certain bones. Hold on. Let me pose the face in a very deliberate manner, just to show off what I want to talk about. Alright. Now, this smile, it's alright. This works. It looks fine. Hold on. It's a decent looking mouth. But it could definitely use some work. Like, this won't do much major. But what I was trying to get at was related to how they're built. So, like, let's say I wanted to do this. Well, it doesn't look awful, but it kind of looks a little blocky and not like how lips stretch. So this is what these bones are for. There is bones almost everywhere on the face. It's not that bad once you get to know all of them and really practice. And I forgot to mention this. I think I forgot. You will not be good at posing immediately. Just look at my renders from August, July 2022. I had to dig deep for those. Look at my renders, even from not too long ago, like December, January. I was getting sort of better at posing, but I was still kind of alright. I wasn't really at the level that I am, which I wouldn't even call myself that good now. Because I still have issues with some of my renders. But, hey, it is what it is. Look what we got now. Ichiban smiling. We got that done. Now that you know what the facial bones do, there's not much I can really teach you, because a lot of these bones, they are kind of self-explanatory. Like these bones, kata. I'm going to assume that means shoulder in Japanese. I'm not 100%. These control the goddamn shoulder. What were you expecting? Ude, all of these control please get it right. The arm, yes, the arm. Yes. Ude 1, it controls the entire arm. The Ude 2, that controls the forearm. Oh boy. And Ude 3. Hold on. I'm trying to get something fucked up. There. Ude 3. There. Controls the hand. The finger bones, they do exactly what's advertised, except there is bones at the very tail end that control the very last fingers. That's all you really need to know about the hands. But what are these bones in the middle? What does this do? This is really just for correcting your poses, to making sure that nothing looks awful. Now, this is the only really one you'll need often. Elbow _ R _ soup. It's in between. It's in between the first and second ude bones. So it's not hard to find. Yeah, it's just gonna be it's just gonna take a little bit to dig for it. Right, let me just do the remainder of the posing. Alright. Now we can get to the body. Mune. That means upper body, I think. Now you're most likely immediately noticing something. What the hell is going on with his coat? Well, here's the thing with his coat. In the Dragon Engine, I don't know if most people, could tell, but it's pretty obvious that the coat physics in the Dragon Engine games are done procedurally in-game. That shit is not animated. And not a lot of games animate coats, because there's no point. They either just parrot it to the regular mesh as if it was just just a regular object, or they just put cloth physics on it. This is essentially doing that with bones in the Dragon Engine, and tons of games do this. So if you want to correct your pose at any point in time, you can just use, if you want to correct the shirt at any point in time, there's bones here. They move the exact group that it looks like it does. The only issue is that it kind of gets confusing which group you're editing, because let's be honest, they all look the fucking same. Now, let me fucking not destroy. Let me not break Ichiban's hand anymore. And let me not do this. do the purposefully fucked up. Yeah, let's fix his elbow. There we go. Oh boy, that fucking voice crack. I also forgot to mention, I can't scream as well as I could before. I just felt like mentioning that. It's not relevant to the video at all. Kosi. This bone. This is actually pronounced koshi. And means lower body in Japanese, if I am correct. Please be correct. And mune is upper body, if koshi is lower body. Now, it's a very common thing to not have the H when you Romanize Japanese. You'll see a lot of characters, like, for example, Shishido and Gaiden. He doesn't have the H's in his files. Or, what's another character? In the PS2 version of Yakuza 1, Nishiki, of all characters, and I believe also Shimano, both of them do not have the H at all. But in the Kiwami versions, they're normal. Okay, I'm not sure about Shimano, but Nishiki's normal, for sure. I don't. It's been a very long time since I played Zero and Kiwami, so, yeah. Kitsu. I don't know what that means, but I'm going to assume it means, the hips, because, if you couldn't tell, I'm not fluent in Japanese. Yeah, this basically moves the entire body, because basically the hips are like the central point of the body. Like, yeah, I don't know how to explain that, so let's just move on. Legs, ashi, that means leg. I love legs. I love posing legs. These are the least awful things to pose. Okay, I'm sorry if I just start yapping out of nowhere. It's funny how I was gonna start a break from Blender, and then, like, all of a sudden, I'm out here making a tutorial series on how to make Yakuza Blender renders. How about I just be normal about this stuff instead? Anyways, yeah, this controls the thigh, this controls the calf, this controls the foot, this controls the toes. That's all you need to know. And, yes, we are actually complete. There is nothing I have to teach you. I am almost certain. There is a bunch of bones that are there, like there are some pocket bones, but in most cases you will not need these, and most characters don't even have them rigged. So, yeah, like in some cases, like with Ichiban, yeah, his pocket is rigged. But, yeah, a lot of characters just don't have rigged, this. But, yeah. So, I'm gonna move on to lighting, but I will start making a new render first, and, that render will be, after that, I will continue to, like, after that is when we will learn about lighting. So, this is where I'm going to cut off from now on, and I will see you guys in a little bit. It'll take a while in my time, because I'm not watching this video after it's been edited and recorded. So, yeah. Bye, guys. I'll see you guys in a little bit. take care for the next few seconds, I guess. Alright, so I'm back. As you can see, I've posed. And I've added another character. I've added Psycho. Yeah, this was a remake of an older render that I did back in August. It was my second Dragon Engine render, actually. Over here, if I control it. This was the original reference. This was with 7 models, and, this is it with Infinite Wealth models. I'm using Ichiban's basic Hawaii shirt and Psycho's whatever the hell she's wearing, and Nate's now we can learn about. Hold on, I didn't set up her materials yet, so we make Psycho look a little bit better than she does now. The same with the hands. All right. Okay, I have all the materials ready. I have the pose ready. Now we can start lighting. But before I do that, I want to show you how to add a camera. Alright, to add a camera or any mesh, there's 2 ways to do this. You can either press Shift and A at the same time, then you'll get this drop down menu, or you can go here, at the top in the same row as object mode. You can select camera right here. Well, we're not gonna do. Actually, we will. We'll select a camera. This won't be our main render camera, however. This will be in a similar. Yeah, we'll do it like this. There's not much I can really say about that abomination right there. I don't know what's going on over there. Still trying to figure out how to pose this without it looking weird. I'm still not sure exactly what's causing what. I think I understand now. Boom. And now we should be okay for re-render. So just in case, I have the second view for other purposes, but we're mainly going to be messing with this view. So now we want to go into rendered mode. And immediately, give it a second, you'll notice something. It looks weird. You'll automatically notice that. Yeah, to start off, let's go ahead and add a light. Let's start with the sun, because Look, this is in Okinawa. So seemingly, I'm guessing, because of the background. I know that's Morning Glory. I don't know why the hell they were in Morning Glory. I thought it was cool, I guess. And actually, I'll leave that for another video. Next video, okay. So when it comes to lights, you want to go to the shadow part. Scroll all the way down, and you want to make sure contact shadows is on in almost every scenario. It is practically, you'll need it a lot, is basically what I'm saying. We'll make this power level 5. And then we'll add another sunlight. So this one isn't directly in the face. And it's also much less bright. And we also change the angle of the shadows and velocity. I'll change this light to a point light. So 5 watts, it'll be 500 watts. And then we'll make the radius a little bit bigger. Play around with the lights. So yeah, let me just explain what each light does. So as you can see, a point light, it kind of does what it does. It lights a good majority of its viewpoint. A sunlight lights the entirety of the angle it's in. Every single object that is in that angle, it renders light inside. So yeah, it's only really good if you're trying to get, like, it's better in cycles than it is in EV. Which I also forgot to mention, use EV for your renders. In most cases, cycles is not accurate to the games. I mean, you can make it accurate, but it's like you kind of have to go through a lot of hassle. And also, cycles is just not good for more inferior computers. Alright, so now that we're done with this, okay, I'm not done with this lighting. I'm going to add a bounce light with an area light. Good time to learn about what these are. So area lights, they light the entirety of an area they're in. Okay. How about I change this to -18. Okay. 0.18. What's gonna make it go back? Okay. 10, let me change that to 180. So yeah, as you can see, it lights the entire area. So let's rotate it on the x-value to this. You see, it's not lighting anything. You see, it's lighting. You see, it's not lighting anything, and there's a reason for that. There's nothing in its proximity that is needing to be lit. But if you put it at 180 degrees, it will light that area 180. And also make sure this is contact as well. Make sure the size is also altered. Usually I like putting it at a 4.5 if I don't resize the models. And then I like putting the bounce light at maybe 50. Then I added the colors of the lights. Let's go for an orangish tone for the color, for the whole palette. And I suggest you have a color palette in mind before starting to render. During the main rendering process, which is lighting and all of that fancy jazz. Now that we have that done, I think I could make this bigger. It's not going to do... Yeah, this could work because it works considering what we're doing. Yep. Right here. I also forgot to mention sunlight. How about a spotlight? Let me show you how that works, basically. So a spotlight it works similarly to an area light, where it lights its entire area, except you can change the size of that area a lot easier. If you don't know what a spotlight is, I can make a real life comparison. So yeah, it's basically like it'll show a plane in a circle. Let's make this 1000. So you see, there's a circle that's like here because it cuts off at a certain point. So we look at this area. Now we want to make this circle smaller. So we're going to change the size of the circle from 45 degrees to this, 7 degrees. You see, yeah, spotlights are based off of circles, and you can also change the blend ratio to make it like blend in more. Yeah. So I'm gonna use this spotlight as a fill light for Psycho's face because it can. And if you're wondering what fill lights are, essentially fill lights just fill in data, fill in parts of the render or face or mesh that aren't really lit as well as they need to be. We're going to change that from 1000 to 10. I think 10 is doing a little bit too much. Even, how about 3? Yeah, 3 works fine. Yeah, I'll go with this color. So yeah, now we have lights. We have posing. Well, what's next to teach? You may be asking. All I have left to teach is, not really much, if I'm going to be honest. What I have right now is, well, you know how to add lights, you know what each light does. All you have to do is just build up your renders, and then you can let it rip. Now, if you're wondering why this changed from unsaved to this, my Blender crashed in between recordings. So, yeah. So, let's say you want to render this just like that. But you want to Photoshop a background in. You can't just take this and Photoshop a background in. What you want to do, if you want to make this like a transparent background, you want to go here where you turn on ambient occlusion, bloom, and screen space reflection. You want to scroll all the way down to film, and you want to click transparent. And now there's one more thing I want to talk about. and it's in the color management place. This view transform. There are 3 view transforms that you could be using, but the only ones that are probably worth using now are AGX and Standard. So what you're seeing right now by default in Blender 4 is AGX. Any older or newer than Blender 2.7, you're getting Filmic. 2.7 and older, you're getting Standard. So let me show you. You have AGX right now. Change to Filmic. This is Filmic. You see, much more yellowish and, how do I describe this? Not as, like, doesn't have as much contrast. Now let's show what Standard looks like. Standard, much more contrast at the cost of the white. So, I'd say the cost of the brightness. There wasn't much brightness here to begin with. So, I'd say personally, check all of those 3 before rendering, so that you have what you think is the best possible version of your render. Just doing everything in AGX works, but experimenting with Blender settings and trying to do other things besides like what's here already. Oh, listen, there's no problem. There's no problem with just doing everything in AGX. I'm gonna do this render in Standard, just because I like the contrast. Standard is like a mix of Filmic and AGX. No, it's not. There's also these 3, but like, if I show you Filmic Log, the color is just completely washed out. If I show you false color, this is like those heat warm thingies. And then if I show you raw, the brightness is gone. Alright, so let's go back to AGX. How about that? Looks pretty nice. Now what about the look here? We can change this look from none to have punchy. I don't know what that does. It definitely makes your thing look more contrasting. Grayscale. Just completely get rid of all colors. Very high contrast. Makes obvious sense. Very low contrast. And base contrast. These do exactly what they say they do. So, yeah. There's not much I have left to teach you on lighting, posing, and all this. Once you're done, you can just go over here, render image. Don't click this, because I've had instances where I've clicked this and I've had to wait to reload Blender and done this. So we're going to render the image, and then we will be done. Thank you guys so much for watching. Tune in next time. Part 3, we will be covering the post-processing effects with the compositor nodes. We will also be covering how to also be covering fan shaders, like for example Galen's Dragon Engine shader. And finally we will be discussing, and that will be it for the YAKUZA Dragon Engine stuff. After that it'll be all old engine. There's only 3 parts for Dragon Engine and 3... And I'm not sure how many for old engine. And there's my render. Thank you guys so much for watching once again, and bye-bye.